We like to talk with Warren Roberts out at the UC Davis Arboretum and find out a plant that is probably putting on a show right now or has some sort of interest for the season. And Warren, this week we are talking about the alstroemeria, or the Peruvian lily.
Yes, the alstroemeria. I really didn't know about alstroemerias until I lived in Peru, and it was back in the mid-'60s. And it was being grown a lot as a cut flower. Although cut flower is not quite right, because when you harvest alstroemerias, you generally pull and twist the stem out of the ground, because if you cut it, it discourages continual flowering. It's called the Peruvian lily because when Europeans described it and discovered it, Chile, a country to the south, was part of the Peruvian viceroyalty. And so it was given that name. But it's really from Chile, the species that are used in the hybridization. Most of them are Chilean natives. And I've tried to convince people to call it the common name from the country of origin. But when I say Chile lily, people usually snicker. So I don't think I'm going to make any headway on that. But the Chilean lily would be a more appropriate name.
There you go.
However,
yes.
However, like the Thanksgiving bird, the turkey, was domesticated in Mexico and had nothing to do with turkey at all. So once these things are started, you can't really turn them around. It's kind of a juggernaut of disinformation. There are about 50 different species, all South America, and it's not a true lily. It's in its own botanical family and not in the lily family, but is lily-like. So it's the name lily is okay.
I think it's the prettiest weed we have.
Well, it certainly is enthusiastic. Not all the species are. Some of them are exceedingly rare in nature, but have come into the hybridizing program. I warn people. I say, if you want alstroemerias, find a place in the garden that's sunny. Most of them like pretty much full sun. A little afternoon shade, perhaps, in our area, California. But you will always have it there. It will be there forever. So an example is the Botanic Garden at Berkeley. There was a beautiful population of hybrids. The hybridization occurred right there in the garden. It was almost a rainbow of colors. Beautiful. And they'd have a party in the spring to celebrate that. Well, the decision was made that these were not, how should I put it? Their documentation was sketchy. In that garden, everything that grows there, you have to know exactly where it was collected in the wild and so on. So there was some money to put in a Chinese herb garden. And it's a wonderful Chinese herb garden, but particularly because it's a Chinese herb garden with alstroemerias. They continue coming up and being beautiful. So I've warned people about that, and then they don't follow my advice, which is not uncommon. And then they come to me and said, Warren, you were right. Because not only are they permanent where you put them, but they do spread a bit as well. And the seedlings come up and so on.
There is no question that if you plant alstroemeria, indeed, you will have them forever. I'm still pulling up alstroemeria shoots from where I tore them out 4 years ago.
Yes, it's sort of a job security.
Yes, it is. But it's a great cut flower. It really does have a long bloom season. And in its place, I think it's excellent.
Yes, but just finding the correct place, it's like hiring somebody to spend a lot of time making sure that you're hiring the best person, and then let them then get out of their way, let them do the work. And that's the way it is with alstroemeria. I think that a good way to have alstroemerias is to plant them in a very large container, a pot that keeps it in place, and then just don't let it go to seed. There's these beautiful, there's alstroemeria aurea, which is sort of an orange-yellow flower, which gets about, 4 or 5 feet high. Alstroemeria ligtu, which tends to have red flowers. And the hybrids are mainly between those two and these rare species along the coast and in the desert of Chile. There's even actually an annual one in the deserts of Chile. But most of them are perennial with fleshy roots. They're not a bulb, really. They can be grown in areas which considerable cold, but don't let the ground freeze. For example, in Connecticut, they can be grown, but you need to mulch them heavily, and they'll make it through the winter.
Generally speaking, alstroemerias can be grown, shall we say, south of the Mason-Dixon line and then up the eastern seaboard to just about Connecticut. You can probably grow them through Maryland, Delaware, southern New Jersey, southern Pennsylvania as well.
And you could also, plant them in season or put them out during the warm season. And then if you have a way to store them in the cold season, then you can have them as a perennial. It's an example of what a perennial is, a plant that would have bloomed again year after year had it lived.
Had it lived, yes.
There is another one from southern Brazil called alstroemeria psittacina, meaning psittacina means parrot-like. It has a narrow red flower with green-tipped flower parts. And that one is truly weedy, but very beautiful. There's also a variegated form of that. It's a cut flower that you don't cut. And it's one of the longest lasting vase flowers I know. 2 weeks, easy.
Correct.
And if you use the something that can extend the life of a vase flower, then it lasts even longer. And even when it's through being in its prime in a vase, the flower parts fall still intact. So it's a really splendid plant. Carnations and alstroemerias. Some people don't like them because they're commonly used, but the reason they're commonly used is that they're so successful.
Yes, and you're very correct about pulling the flower out. Don't cut it. And when you pull it out, that also encourages it to rebloom as well.
It does. And if you're doing a lot of work with them, don't get the sap on your skin because it somehow reduces the skin's ability to resist ultraviolet rays, and people can get sunburn from the juice of the plant.
Whoa. Okay. I did not know that. Well, alstroemeria, it knows its place. Do you? Try out the Peruvian lily for yourself. I bet you can find some Peruvian lilies at the UC Davis Arboretum, Warren.
Usually so, but you can also find them at almost any nursery. They're well worth getting, but just remember the warnings.
Yes, they're going to take over your yard and give you sunburn. Okay. They're a gorgeous plant. Alstroemerias, the Peruvian lily. Warren Roberts is the Superintendent Emeritus of the UC Davis Arboretum. Visit the Arboretum online at arboretum.ucdavis.edu. Check their website for more information about what's happening out there. Warren, thanks so much for joining us and telling us about the plant of the week, the Peruvian lily, also known as alstroemeria.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun to do.